How to get accumulated lists of all tax sale dates for each state in the United States. Hi, this is Julia M. Spencer. I'm a real estate advisor, investor, and your #1 source for real estate advice online. Welcome to Orlando, Florida. We're on vacation again. We try to take every opportunity that we can to go on vacation. And while I was on vacation yesterday, I received a message from a customer, actually somebody that's purchased my ebooks and had a specific question, and what he wanted to know is how to get a list or go online and get some sort of resource on how to get a cumulative listing of all sales dates for all counties, for all states in the United States, and where to get that list and how to obtain that. So here is my question for that. There is actually no such list or website that I know of. Now, if you want to search, there will be third-party companies that have the information for tax sales post-sale usually, and those are the lists that a lot of overage investors subscribe to get the information about sales so they can go after that overage amount. Third-party providers usually get these lists together and you have to pay for a subscription. I've never subscribed to any of them. If you want to know what those websites are, just send me an email. It's realestate@juliamspencer.com. I don't use those sites, and also there's another reason why those sites, or I want to say cumulative list of tax sale dates, doesn't really exist. And there's actually 3 reasons that I could think of. But feel free to comment if you have additional comments. If you have invested in tax sale foreclosures, maybe you know of a source. I don't know of one, reliable one. So the first point is just that there is no way to really reliably accumulate those lists, because tax sale dates change. Now, sometimes the sale date is kind of set. Sometimes they don't set them until pretty close to the date. It's pretty easy to find a date if it's like only a once-a-year sale. For lien sales, sometimes if it's a smaller county, they cancel sales at the last minute. Like if they don't have enough properties, they'll just move them to the next month. In the county where I live, Chatham County in Georgia, what happens a lot around the winter time is that they just cancel 3 or 4 sales in a row, which is very annoying, because if you've done all the research and then they just cancel it at the last moment, you've done all the research for nothing, and that's pretty annoying. That's a big waste of your time. But that's not advertised anywhere, and you won't even know about it. So a lot of times the sales officials actually cancel the sales sometimes at the last minute. A lot of times what I've experienced is sometimes I go to the sale all prepared and it will be announced right then and there that the sale is canceled. I mean, you really have no notice, and it would be very hard for a third party that isn't even local to have that information and be able to update it at the last minute. So that's what makes it difficult to keep a list like that updated. The best way for you as an investor in any case is there's another reason too that these lists probably don't exist is if you're an investor and you're starting off at tax sale foreclosures, you won't be able to be everywhere anyway. So why would you even need a list of every county and every city, especially if the sales happen at the same time? I mean, it's kind of good to know. It's kind of better to pick a couple of target counties and states and just work around those states. Even the very, very successful investors that I work with out west in Nevada and California, they kind of focus on their area. I mean, the person that I work with from California, he invests in California, Nevada, Arizona, and kind of like stays in that area there. Utah sometimes, not very often, but kind of stays in the west there. The investors that I know here go up and down the East Coast, adjacent states. Myself, I do Georgia, South Carolina, Florida, Alabama, and there's plenty of sales already, plenty of counties just in the state of Georgia that I don't really need to have a big list of all the other states. I want to stay local in the area because I want to minimize my traveling costs and invest in the area where I'm most familiar with, and I know the tax officials there, the other investors, the tax dates. So having a list like that, it's hard to get a list, first off, because there's no way to keep the list updated or in any way reliable at this point. And there's not really a good need for it because you need to be localized first before you can go to other areas. I mean, you can't look at the whole United States and build up a strategy to do it properly until you figure out your local area first. And I've made a video about this actually. If you start investing in your county, the next step you should do is do the adjacent counties. If your state doesn't work for you, if it's a deed state or a lien state, or it's a state like New Mexico where mortgages ride alongside the tax liens and are on the same level, not junior to the tax liens, so you want to maybe pick a different state. So once you figure out that, you kind of branch out to the adjacent areas. But typically people don't invest in the East Coast and the West Coast at the same time, not in tax sale foreclosures anyways. That's usually what I've found. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. If you have other information, feel free to send me comments, but typically going all over the map isn't beneficial to you. It eats up a lot of your profit and travel costs, and it's just not beneficial to you. Now, there's one last reason why a list might be something that would be hard to get, and this is something some of the tax officials actually have pointed out to me before, is that you can't, I mean, if you go a step further down, I mean, you can get a list of all the states and all the counties and all the tax sale dates. So the last point is that a lot of county officials, state officials and city officials, but mostly county officials, the ones that I usually deal with for tax sales, they really are apprehensive of giving out any lists of any kind. Now, they'll give you a date for the sale, but they won't give you a date like when they anticipate it to be canceled, or they won't tell you, okay, these properties will be auctioned off on this date or on this date. You kind of just have to go with the flow and get the information like everybody else in the public newspaper, for example. They will not give you a list of properties that they own. For the state of Georgia doesn't have over-the-counter sales, so they won't give you any lists of properties that the city or the county owns. For example, properties that have been auctioned or have tried to have been auctioned off and could not be auctioned off simply because nobody bid on them. So, if you have a tax sale, property is auctioned off, nobody bids on it, it goes to the city or the county, to the taxing authority, and they have an inventory. So I tried to get that inventory before, and they would just not give me a list. Now, Georgia is not an over-the-counter sale state. Some states are. For example, South Carolina is one of them, where you can just go to the county and get a list. In fact, I'm going to make a video about that here soon. And the reason they don't do that, I've asked them that, is they're very apprehensive of just giving people lists of properties that the city or the county owns, because they don't want it to sound like they took the properties away from the owners and now just selling them for cheap to anyone. That's it looks very bad for the city. County makes them look really bad, makes them look like they're stealing properties, and they just don't want that appearance at all. Now, not everybody works that way, but this is exactly what I experienced in the city of Savannah. When I asked them to provide me with a list of properties that are owned by the city, I got a big no. You're not getting that list, you can't have it. We have the list in our own, and this is really stupid, because you can go to the courthouse and just do a search and see which properties are owned by the city or the county, but you can't really possibly tell which ones are actually used for municipal uses and which ones are residential properties that have just gone to the city because of unpaid taxes. So you got to do your own research. but they're very apprehensive to give you any list. And what they told me is, hey, if you want to purchase a property from the city, you just have to wait till we list it with a realtor for sale, and you're going to have to pay market price. So there's a big no, there's a big wall, there's a big apprehension, and just a big wall built up. So you kind of have to figure out how in your city or your county you kind of maneuver around that. You know, you can explain to them that you're an investor, you're trying to take over properties and make the tax payments from then on, so you know, city services can be paid for and things like that. I mean, there's ways to negotiate it around any obstacle like this. But that's another reason why it would be difficult for you to get a list. Now, this is not a list on when the tax sales happen. It's more like a list of which properties are available for sale when there are no over-the-counter sales offered in that particular state, city, county, or, you know, other municipality. So I hope this makes sense. I hope this answers the question from my customer. I did also send him a message. I try to answer every question that I get. I'm not very timely sometimes, especially when I'm on vacation. And please send me more questions. realestate@juliamspencer.com. Make sure you subscribe to my newsletter. You get a free guide to real estate investing sent to you immediately if you subscribe. If you have any issues with that process, also send me a message. It goes directly to my phone, so I do get your messages pretty much immediately. And I look forward to hear from you, and I want to hear more of your questions and comments, constructive criticism, and in fact, your hate mail as well. If you want to send me hate mail, feel free. I get lots of it. It's enjoyable for me to read it these days, and we leave it up, actually. We don't delete it. So anyways, let me show you where I am. I am near Sand Lake at a resort here in Orlando, and we're here on vacation. And yeah, have a look around.
For your free guide to real estate investing, visit juliamspencer.com.